I don't know. Wait, actually, Alexa, speakers on. Alexa, speakers on. No, no, we're thinking about it. Oh, there we go. Now you can say good morning.
What's up, guys? Good morning.
Just talking to John here about what we're going to be putting together for the Facebook ad strategy and landing pages and everything, video and just the whole thing. So it was good times. Didn't get to work out this morning, but all right, I will catch up with both of you very soon. So I got to go get my garage door opener today because I left it in the loaner. Is the battery good? Come on. There we go. Great. Awesome. Time to go get it. I've taken the GoPro with me today because I'd like to get some shots of driving towards the city if I can. I'm not sure how to mount it though. Like I have this car cam thing, but to get this in and out of the car would be tough, and I kind of want more of a side angle because of how I come into Camden, and Philly is on the left hand side, so we're gonna see how I can kind of mount this on the way over there. So I had a really great conversation with John this morning. Looks like we're gonna make some very real progress very, very quickly. Looks like starting Monday we'll be running Facebook ads to the right people, getting this content and all the other content and everything else out into the market. Market people, places, things, I don't know. We're gonna get it out to the right people. That's the goal, and I think we're gonna really be able to accomplish that goal pretty easily, considering that John seems to really know what he's doing. And I got a lot of trust and respect for him, so looking forward to working with him. Today, so there's other things I was going to talk about today. Tonight, Amy J is coming to hang out at the house, so we could record for MapCon, and so that we can get some MapCon. If you don't know what MapCon is, it's Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference. You can get there by midatlanticpodcast.com. And it's a podcast conference here in the Northeast, held right outside of Philly. We've done the first 2 years. We've had international people come in, people from all across the country. It's been a really awesome event, and I really have enjoyed doing it. I mean, I haven't made a ton of money at it. In fact, I broke even in the first 2 years, across the first 2 years, which is really not bad at all. Anyway, I just really love content creation and podcasting and all that. So I wanted to put together an event called Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference. So it sounds official and it sounds like it's meant to be or whatever. So anyway, I did that 2 years ago. We held our first conference in a school gymnasium that I was able to get for free, so that it was nice and cheap. But in order to get it for free, I had to teach a podcasting course at the school. It was a Catholic school, so it was a neat experience. So I'm glad I got to do it because I was able to add like works with youth under my resume repertoire thing, so it was a neat experience. It took up a ton of time, but definitely was something I cherish. And if you want to check out those classes, I actually recorded all of them on video and they're on YouTube. So if you go to like superjoepardo.com/projects, or just go to superjoepardo.com, click projects in the top right, you scroll all the way to the bottom, it says miscellaneous, it says podcast at school or school. Yeah, podcast at school. And basically we walk the kids through how to create a podcast step by step, and we picked out a name, got a logo created, got a website up, showed them how to utilize WordPress. They were already learning HTML. They were middle schoolers. I don't know if I mentioned that part, but yeah, so they got all of those skills, and they recorded. I think we got like 3 episodes in before we had to stop because the school musical kind of took over and time started to become a factor, and that was for the school year. Then in September, we had the first MapCon. It was great. It was an awesome experience. Everybody had a really great time. Everybody loved the food because we had like awesome catering, and it was a really awesome. Like we had like 8 or 9 people staying at our house for the event. It was crazy. Of course, that was in the time before Ava. So then we, for the next year, we had even more people. So we went from like 50 people to 75 people in the second year, and which was awesome. We were able to like grow in size. I upped my game and moved to a hotel, which the hotel was actually cheaper than it would have cost me to be at the school gymnasium had I paid for it or just spent the time. But it's okay. It gave MapCon a really interesting vibe and different feel, and gave me an opportunity to plus up for the next year. So yeah, we had people come from like South Dakota and California, and Washington and Texas, and all up and down the East Coast, and Florida, like West Palm Beach, and of course all from our local area: New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Virginia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. So we had people from all over come here. It was really magical. It was an awesome time to be able to put that together. So this year, it's September. It's always been the second weekend. Well, I think it's the second weekend in September. Yeah, so like September this year is 8th and 9th. So which might be the first weekend. I'm not sure, but it's always that like 8, 9, 10 weekend, whatever that ends up being. And we also get to celebrate birthdays because it's my birthday. It's Jeanette Pellegrini's birthday, who's my photographer. So it's really a cool experience. Because like the first year we actually had a piñata at the event. It seems like just yesterday, like that all that went down. But so yeah. So for this year, we're back at the same hotel. We're doing lots of things. I'm passing off some of the responsibilities of the conference to my good friend Amy J, who hasn't been on the vlog yet, but she will be starting tonight. Anyway, we do a conference. So it's the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference podcast, where we interview podcasters about their experience in podcasting and like what they love about podcasting and what they hate about podcasting, and just talk about like podcasters talking about podcasting. And the first year was really successful. We had gotten a lot of traction. A lot of people were checking it out. A lot of people subscribed, and then we live streamed some of the conference on that stream thanks to Spreaker. Shout out to Spreaker. You should check them out at Spreaker.com, Spreaker.com. And yeah, it was just a really cool thing that I put together as a way to help promote it, because originally I was like, okay, let's go big. Let's do meetups in 5 different cities in like 3 months, or actually less than 3 months, in like 2 months. So like in the spring, we're gonna do Baltimore, New York, Philadelphia, South Jersey, and DC, and I'm like, oh, this sounds like an amazing idea. I'm so glad I thought of this. It's going to be wonderful. What I didn't plan for was the fact that our daughter was being born in March, and I wasn't doing anything about any of this stuff that I had planned. As far as like, I thought I could handle it, and I guess I got overwhelmed. Having a new daughter, trying to balance that with trying to balance like keeping all the work things that I had going on, all the current projects I had going on, and this idea that I was going to go and do these events, which weren't going to be cheap unless they were like, hey, let's meet at a park, which would have been great, except with the park, like, it could have totally rained. So I had like this plan with Jessica Kupferman. I was like, all right, well, let's drive down to DC, and then we'll have the Baltimore one the next day, and it'll, we'll just drive back, and it'll be great. And we were able to get one place. I think in Baltimore we had secured a place. But picking a place in a city that you've never been is really tough, and is really time consuming. And I had to make quite a few phone calls, and it just wasn't going to work out. So sadly, and I hate feeling defeated. I really hate feeling defeated. But I decided that I was going to relinquish it and just say, okay, well, I couldn't pull it off. I thought I could, but the whole having a baby thing took over more time and everything than I really thought it would. Plus, I really didn't like the idea that I was going to have to stay overnight in some of these cities, which was going to add to my cost, and I wasn't confident in whether or not I was going to be able to recoup those costs. See, we talk about business lessons here on my daily vlogs. That's it's in my DNA. So I wasn't sure that I was going to be able to recoup all my costs and make it work in a way that made a lot of sense. So ultimately, I decided to can it and was like, you know what? Let's start up a podcast instead to promote a podcast conference. So I did that. Had a great time doing it. We finished out just after the conference. We finished out doing the episodes, and we haven't started up since because it's just been really, really busy. So I talked to Amy and was like, hey, I'd still love to have this podcast go off, but I can't do that if we're going to, like, just time right now is the problem. So I asked, like, hey, you're a podcaster, you love podcasting, you interview people, why don't you, because she wants to help out in any way she can. I'm like, why don't you take over the podcast? So we're going to do an episode tonight, talk basically where I interview her, because I didn't interview her for the last season of the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference. This season 2, I will interview her first, and we'll announce that she will be taking over the reins for the show. It's the first show that I'm giving the reins over to someone else to run, and I'm super proud that it's my friend Amy. Like, I'm really excited that she's going to be doing this for me, and for us, and for the conference. See, the thing about MapCon is it's really a community event. Like, it's not set up for me to make a ton of money. The only way I would make a ton of money is if I could flood the doors and have like 400 or 500 people. And I believe that we could totally do that. There's other conferences out there. Shout out to Podcast Movement, and shout out to Podcast Media Expo, and shout out to DC Podfest and Philly Podfest, and there's so many other great ones out there, and there's other ones that want to get started. The reason that I was able to do it is because I have an event background, right? Like, I grew up being a part of these events at my grandparents' business. So we would do annual events, and there'd be like 1,000 people that would descend onto this local catering hall, which it sounds... It's a lot nicer than a hall. It's on a lake. It's really upscale. It's like one of the biggest places that you can have a wedding at in the area. It's super awesome, and we're like family friends with the people that own it. So, anyway, it's so that background, and then the background of like hosting LAN parties and hosting like mini raves and all these things. Like, I've done all these different types of events, and even working at like KatsuCon one year, and working at other LAN parties that were like 256 people, 512 people that took their computers and they bring them to a hall and hook them all up, and even hosting my own. So it's like I have a ton of experience in doing that kind of stuff. So for me, it just makes sense. The thing is while I'm really happy and proud that I was able to break even the first 2 years, I'm okay with it growing naturally and organically over the years. Like, I didn't need it to be a home run for me, because what I seen was, well, I could invest a ton of money in marketing, a ton of money in event stuff, paying staff and all that, and I'm like, it doesn't need to be all that. Like, this is gonna grow year over year, because we do it differently. Like, one of the things that we do differently is we have the podcast competition, right? So you have like 15 minutes or 15, 20 minutes to work with like 4 other people to put together a 5-minute podcast episode. And it can be off the wall. The whole idea is creativity. So you get like an item and you have to come up with a theme for the show based around that item, or you have to incorporate items into it that you don't know what those items are until you get them in the bag. So it's little things like that that just create a much different atmosphere than they talk, you listen all day, and that's the thing. So I've learned quite a few things over the last 6 months, and I'm really looking forward to incorporating some of those into MapCon. I haven't figured out what the schedule is going to look like. We still are accepting speaker submission. So if you go to I think it's midatlanticpodcast.com/apply, I think, pretty sure, you can submit to be a speaker at MapCon. The other thing is we're really looking for people that have some like really interesting topics they want to talk about, so, like something you don't necessarily hear everyone talk about. So if you have something that's like kind of off the wall, there's a bunch of ideas there too. If you go there, like, this is the kind of topics that we're looking for. There's more than I can think of off the top of my head. So what I'm curious, for anybody who's watching this still 15 minutes in, what I'm curious about is do you have any events that you host? And if so, why don't you go ahead and post them in the comments below, whether it's on YouTube or superjoeparra.com or Facebook or wherever you're watching this. Why don't you drop that in there in the comments? So I'd love to check out other events that people are putting on, like, that you're running. Not that you're a part, like, if you're running the event, like you created the event, you're running the event, I want to hear about it. So drop me a comment in the comments below, and I'd love to hear about it. So anyway, I'm gonna fight through this traffic a little bit here, and hopefully go get my garage door opener and be at work before 9 o'clock. We'll see what happens. Okay, I got my garage door opener. Now time to get over to work. So I'm pretty tired. Sitting a lot during the day, I mean, clearly is not good for you, but it just, everything just creaks and makes noise. Amy is supposed to be over at the house by like 7:30. Oh, come on, people, I gotta get over. Please let me over. Oh, there's a truck there. All right. I love when people are like, no, you can't get over. Like, how dare you want to get into the left lane? Well, the left lane, truth be told, is the only lane that I can get in, that I need to get into in order to get on my way home. So you have to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, a total of 9 lanes from the time I get on the highway to now. to get onto the part of the highway that I need to get home. It's just not good. And of course it's raining, so everybody's driving extra. This thing I don't understand. It's like, so people jump all the way in the left lane, but it's an exit only lane, and so either like people are jumping in the left lane thinking that they're like, I'm gonna go, but then they don't, and then they jump over and they stop the line, or they wait till the last possible second to get over. Like, if you know where you're going, get in the lane, please. It would do everybody a favor. Just get in that lane and stay in that lane and stop jumping all around. Jump around.
Light thing again?
Oh yeah, we're doing this light thing again. Okay, so it's really tough to get the light thing right. Hold on, I'll turn this light back on.
And you had to move it over.
And I move this over here like
right,
that.
That's
okay.
how we had to do it.
So we just got done recording
Did they just vlog all that?
Yes,
This vlogging thing is serious.
It is. It's seriously lazy.
I don't know. It's hard
for me. I don't know. I'm not editing it. So anyway, we just got done recording 2 podcast episodes for the Mid-Atlantic Podcast Conference podcast, which you can check out at midatlanticpodcast.com. Amy,
hardcore.
Yeah, I told you she'd be in the vlog. She made it in the vlog. I still got to put this whole thing together. Talking about our, the podcast, how we got started podcasting.
He interviewed me. I interviewed him.
Yes, and she's taking over the show, like I said it earlier today. So
we just
I predicted the future.
He did it all. Plus, we talked some MapCon speaker stuff, and we were productive tonight.
Yes, we were.
Gosh darn it.
Yes, we were. So, so I'm gonna sign out now. Make sure you like and subscribe. I don't always get to say it because I don't know when it ends.
Like and subscribe, guys.
To the YouTube channel here, superjoepardo.com/tube, because I don't have an official youtube.com/superjoepardo. So we're gonna get that. Hopefully the lighting in this is all right.
I'm hoping.
It looks like it's all right. Like I'm looking at your face and it looks fine.
Just imagine that it was. Close your eyes and listen to our voices.
All right.
Bye, guys.
See ya.